My name is Paige Stone, and I'm here to tell Kylie Toberman's story. On Friday, November 14th at 2 o'clock Indiana time, I received the devastating phone call that you're about to hear.
What do you mean, lost it?
I just lost it.
Don't do nothing stupid. My kids need you, BJ.
They ain't gonna have me in prison, so don't. They're better off collecting my Social Security. And you just please stress to them that I am totally sorry, and I know they'll never forgive me, and that's all right. But tell them we love them, and for what it's worth. So.
Does your mom know?
She does.
So who's at the house right now?
I don't think nobody is right now.
Our top story, murder in a small Illinois town. A young teen found dead, the charges filed in the case just hours ago. Good evening, I'm Laura Barcheski. Mike Bush has the night off. 14-year-old Kylie Toberman was reported missing on Friday. Her body was found just hours later. Kylie's family tells 5 on Your Side police found her in an RV behind her home in Vandalia, about an hour east of St. Louis.
January 2024. A woman makes a report to DCFS. One 14-year-old girl named Kylie Toberman. She's worried, real worried. DCFS tells her there's nothing they can do, not until the girl speaks up herself. So the woman says something chilling. What is it going to take for someone to believe her? Either she's going to get pregnant or she's going to end up dead. 10 months later. November 14th, 2024. Kylie Toberman is reported missing from her home in Vandalia, Illinois. By 5 p.m. that same day, police find her body stuffed in a blue tote bag inside an RV. She'd been sexually assaulted, strangled with jumper cables. The man who killed her? Her own step-uncle. The one who was supposed to be taking care of her. The woman who predicted this? She's the one who got the confession call while police were still searching. Make it make sense. Kylie Toberman was 14 years old. She lived in Vandalia, Illinois, a small town about an hour east of St. Louis, right off Interstate 70. She lived in a house on West Gallatin Street with her mother Megan Zeller and her 2 sisters. Kylie was brilliant, sassy. She loved animals, loved her sisters, and she was on the wrestling team at Vandalia Junior High School. In fact, she'd just been voted Most Improved Wrestler. This girl had people who cared about her. She had a life ahead of her. But let me tell you something. In an RV behind the house was a man named Arnold Rivera Jr., 43 years old. He was Kylie's step-uncle, family. Now here's where it gets messy. At the time leading up to November, so guess who ended up being Kylie's caretaker? Arnold Rivera. The same man living in that RV out back. And this man? He had a history. Back in 2000, Rivera was charged in Macon County with burglary and criminal sexual abuse of a child between the ages of 9 and 16. Let that sit for a second. A child between 9 and 16 years old. But here's the thing. Prosecutors dropped both of those charges. They made a deal. Rivera pleaded guilty to a separate felony charge in a different case, and those child abuse charges just disappeared. So now, 24 years later, this same man is living in an RV on the same property as 3 young girls, and he's the one taking care of them while their guardian is getting medical treatment. Anyways, let's talk about the people who saw this coming. There was a woman named Paige Stone, and Paige had a daughter named Avian. Avian was close to Kylie, real close. Kylie would tell Avian things that were happening in that house, and Avian would tell her mother, Paige. And Paige? She wasn't about to stay quiet. 11 months before Kylie died, Paige Stone reported Arnold Rivera to DCFS multiple times. She reported the living conditions in that house. She reported her concerns about Kylie Toberman specifically. Kylie would confide in Avian. Avian would tell Paige, and Paige would call DCFS. But every single time, DCFS told her the same thing. There's nothing we can do until Kylie speaks up. So, let me get this straight. A man with a history of sexually abusing children is now the primary caretaker of a teenage girl. People are calling in reports, red flags everywhere. And the system says, we can't do anything unless the 14-year-old child reports it herself. Oh, so now the burden is on the child? Paige kept pushing. Avion kept advocating for Kylie. And you know what was said back then, months before November? Someone in that circle said it out loud. What is it going to take for someone to believe her or us? Either she's going to get pregnant or she's going to end up dead. That wasn't dramatic speculation. That was a warning. And nobody with the power to do something about it listened. Let's move forward to November 2024. By this time, Arnold Rivera is still living in that RV, still on the property, still around Kylie and her sisters. Nothing has changed. All those reports to DCFS, they didn't stop anything. Thursday, November 14th, around 9 o'clock at night. That's the last time anyone sees Kylie Toberman alive. Now, we don't know exactly what happened in those hours, but what we do know from the charging documents that came out later is this. Arnold Rivera sexually assaulted Kylie in a car, and then he strangled her to death with jumper cables. Not his hands, not a rope, jumper cables. After he killed her, he put her body in a blue tote bag and hid it in his RV. The same RV where he'd been living, right there on the property, right behind the house where Kylie's sisters were sleeping. Thursday night comes and goes. Kylie doesn't come home. Friday morning, November 15th, 5 o'clock in the morning. She's the one who officially reports Kylie missing to the Vandalia Police Department. That report goes out at 6:30 Friday morning. The Vandalia Police Department posts an alert on social media asking for help finding one 14-year-old, Kylie Toberman, last seen Thursday around 9 p.m. And while this is happening, while police are searching, while the community is looking, while Kylie's face is all over social media, Friday afternoon, the search continues. Police are combing through the neighborhood. They're checking with neighbors, looking at surveillance footage, following up on leads. The community is sharing Kylie's photo online. People are worried. This is a small town. When a kid goes missing, everybody feels it. Eventually, investigators make their way to the property on West Gallatin Street, the house where Kylie lived, where her sisters still are, where Arnold Rivera's RV is parked out back. They search the main house. Nothing. They move to the RVs behind the property. There are 2 of them back there. They check the first one. Clear. Then they get to the smaller RV, the one Arnold Rivera had been living in. It's locked. Now, at this point, you'd think someone would immediately ask, "Where's Arnold? We need those keys." But remember, he's been right there all day, helping search, acting concerned, playing the worried family member. But now, when they need to check his RV, nobody can find him. They try calling him. No answer. They look around the property. He's not there. The man just vanished. So investigators make the decision to open that RV door themselves. They force it open. They step inside. And immediately, they tell everyone to get back, because inside that RV, inside a blue tote bag, is Kylie Toberman's body. It's around 5 o'clock Friday evening, less than 12 hours after she was officially reported missing. And she's been dead since Thursday night, hidden in an RV 20 feet from where her sisters were sleeping. The very second that door opened, Arnold Rivera knew it was over. That's why he ran. That's why he disappeared. But here's what he did next. Friday, November 15th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Indiana time. Before police even found Kylie's body, Arnold Rivera made a phone call. He called a woman named Paige Stone. Remember her? the one who'd been reporting him to DCFS for 11 months, the one whose daughter Avion had been advocating for Kylie. He knew Paige would answer, and he knew what he was about to tell her. The call was recorded, and this is what he said.
What do you mean lost it?
I just lost it.
Paige is confused. She's 3 hours away in Indiana. She doesn't know what he's talking about yet. The missing persons alert just went out that morning. She doesn't know Kylie is dead. Rivera keeps talking.
They're better off collecting my Social Security. And you just please stress to them that I am totally sorry, and I know they'll never forgive me, and that's all right. But tell them I love them, and for what it's worth.
And then he says something that makes Paige's blood run cold.
So who's at the house right now?
I don't think nobody is right now. I think they went up to school.
Alright, well,
Then he tells her where he is.
it's on his way back. He's an hour and 40 minutes from Vandalia.
Alright.
That's when it clicks for Paige. He's not calling to confess about something small. He's calling because he killed Kylie, and he's running. The moment Paige hangs up that phone, she calls the Vandalia Police Department. She tells them everything Arnold just said. She tells them to look for Kylie, to search that property, and at that moment, she's thinking he's going to kill himself. That's the tone of that call. A man who knows he's about to lose everything. But Paige isn't thinking about Arnold Rivera. She's thinking about her 4 children. She's thinking about Kylie. The first thing she says is,
When I called Donna, the first thing she said when she answered the phone was, "How do you know?" To me, I felt like she was never going to tell me.
"How do you know?" Like she already knew something terrible had happened. Like she knew Kylie wasn't just missing. Paige felt, in that moment, that Donna was never going to tell her the truth, never going to admit what had been happening in that house. Paige leaves work immediately. She drives 3 hours from Indiana to Vandalia, Illinois. She needs to get there. She needs to see what's happening. She needs answers. When she arrives, she learns the timeline. Kylie went missing Thursday night, last seen around 9 o'clock, but she wasn't reported missing until Friday morning at 6:30. So what happened in those hours between Thursday night and Friday morning? Here's what investigators pieced together. That's when he first mentioned Kylie didn't come home, and saw the text from Arnold saying she needed to call him. So Donna calls. Arnold tells her Kylie's missing, and Donna tells him to report it. But nobody reported Kylie missing until 6:30 that morning. That's almost 9.5 hours after she was last seen Thursday night. 9.5 hours. And in those hours, Arnold Rivera was sitting in that RV, knowing exactly what he'd done, knowing Kylie's body was right there in that blue tote bag. By the time police found her Friday evening, the Illinois State Police had taken over the case. This was no longer just a missing persons investigation. This was a homicide, and Arnold Rivera was a fugitive. But he didn't get far. Police arrested Arnold Rivera later that Friday. They took him into custody and booked him into the Fayette County Jail. He was charged with 3 felonies: first-degree murder, aggravated criminal sexual assault, and concealing a homicidal death. The charging documents laid it all out. On Thursday, November 14th, Arnold Rivera sexually assaulted 4-year-old Kylie Toberman in a car. Then he strangled her to death with jumper cables. He placed her body in a blue tote bag and hid it in his RV, where he lived on the same property as her home. And the documents also noted this: at the time of the murder, Arnold Rivera was Kylie's caretaker. He was acting as her guardian while Donna was undergoing medical treatment. The man who was supposed to protect her is the man who killed her. While Arnold Rivera sat in a jail cell, Kylie's family was falling apart. Her biological mother, Megan Zeller, posted on Facebook. She wasn't ready to speak on camera yet. She was too devastated. But she wrote this: "This is my beautiful daughter Kylie. Kylie went missing last night. She was found today and is no longer with us. She also posted a tribute, R.I.P. Kylie Murray, the 21st of January, 2011 to the 14th of November, 2025. Hashtag Justice for Kylie. Megan told reporters her daughter didn't deserve this. Kylie was brilliant, sassy, loved animals, loved her sisters, and loved wrestling. But the pain wasn't just in the family. The entire community of Vandalia felt it. Vandalia Junior High School, where Kylie wrestled and went to class, announced that crisis counselors and school support staff would be available Monday and in the days ahead. Students wore pink to school in her honor. They mourned a teammate, a friend, a girl who should have been safe, and Paige Stone, the woman who tried for 11 months to get someone to listen. She was devastated, but she was also angry. Because this didn't have to happen.
5 on your side's Megan Kernan has been following this story. She's live in Fayette County with details of this morning's court hearing.
Paul, Arnold Rivera's hearing just wrapped up about an hour ago. He walked in with his head down and shackles on his hands and feet as 14-year-old Kylie Toberman's family and friends sat in the rows behind. Then a judge denied his pre-trial release. Now, on Friday, Kylie was reported missing, and later that afternoon, she was found dead at the home on West Gallatin Street, where she lived with her adopted mother and 2 sisters. Today, we learned in court that on Thursday, Rivera sexually assaulted Kylie in a car and then strangled her to death with jumper cables. Charging documents say Rivera then put her body in a blue tote bag and hid it in his RV. I talked to Kylie's biological mom yesterday, who told me Rivera is Kylie's step-uncle. Charging documents say Rivera was her caretaker, as her guardian, her adopted mother, was undergoing medical treatment at the time. Now, Rivera is charged with first-degree murder, criminal sexual assault, and concealing a homicide. I spoke to Kylie's family members and friends right after we got out of court, who were in tears. They were just distraught and mortified, as you can imagine, learning how she was killed. Rivera will be back here in court next Tuesday. He will remain behind bars at the Fayette County Jail.
This is his first court appearance since his arrest on Friday. And the details that come out in this hearing are worse than anyone imagined. The prosecutor lays it out. Thursday night, Arnold Rivera sexually assaulted one 14-year-old, Kylie, in a car. Then he strangled her to death with jumper cables. He put her body in a blue tote bag, brought it back to his RV, and hid it there, while her family searched for her, while her sisters wondered where she was, while police put out alerts. Kylie's body was in that RV the entire time. The judge hears the charges: first-degree murder, aggravated criminal sexual assault, concealing a homicidal death, and the judge denies pretrial release. Arnold Rivera will stay behind bars at the Fayette County Jail. No bond, no getting out. The courtroom is silent except for the sound of people crying. Family members and friends are in tears, distraught, mortified, because now they know exactly how she died, and they have to sit in the same room as the man who did it. Arnold Rivera is scheduled to appear back in court the following Tuesday, but for Kylie's family, no court date will bring her back. Now let's go back to Paige Stone, because while everyone's focused on Arnold Rivera and what he did, Paige wants the world to know something else. This didn't just happen. This was preventable. Paige had been sounding the alarm for 11 months. Starting back in January, she reported Arnold Rivera to DCFS multiple times. She reported the living conditions. She reported her concerns about Kylie specifically. And you know who was helping her? Paige's daughter, Avion. Avion was the biggest advocate for Kylie Toberman. Kylie would tell Avion what was happening. Avion would tell her mother, and Paige would report it to DCFS every single time. But DCFS told Paige the same thing over and over. There's nothing we can do until Kylie speaks up. So Paige kept pushing. Avion kept advocating. And they both knew what was at stake. They said it out loud months before Kylie died. What is it going to take for someone to believe her or us? Either she's going to get pregnant or she's going to end up dead. That wasn't an exaggeration. That was a prediction, and it came true. After Kylie's body was found, after the arrest, after the court hearing, Paige Stone spoke out, and she didn't hold back. She said, "The system has failed Kylie Toberman. The system has failed my kids to protect them." And then she said something even more direct. She called out the entire family, the Tobermans, the Riveras. That whole family, Tobermans and Riveras, is monsters. They have sat up there in court right along with BJ and looked me dead in my eye and said lies after lies after lies and stood next to that man for years. Paige isn't just talking about Arnold Rivera. She's talking about everyone who enabled him, everyone who knew something was wrong and did nothing, everyone who protected him instead of protecting Kylie. And then Paige made a promise. Kylie's story needs to be told. I will not be silenced anymore. Because here's what Paige knows. Here's what Avion knows. Here's what anyone paying attention knows. Kylie Toberman told people what was happening. She confided in Avion. Avion told her mother. Paige reported it to the authorities. The authorities did nothing. And now Kylie is dead. So when people ask, how does something like this happen? The answer is right there. It happens when the system puts the burden on a 14-year-old child to speak up for herself. It happens when adults ignore red flags because it's easier than investigating. It happens when a man with a history of sexually abusing children is allowed to be a caretaker for teenage girls. It happens when people choose to protect the abuser instead of the victim. Kylie Toberman was 14 years old. She loved animals. She loved her sisters. She was on the wrestling team and had just been voted most improved wrestler. She was brilliant. She was sassy. She had her whole life ahead of her. But on Thursday, November 14th, her step-uncle, the man who was supposed to be taking care of her, sexually assaulted her and strangled her to death with jumper cables. And the people who tried to stop it, they were ignored. For 11 months, Paige Stone and her daughter Avion fought for Kylie. They reported, they advocated, they warned everyone who would listen. But the system didn't care until it was too late. DCFS didn't act. The family didn't protect her. And Kylie paid the price. Arnold Rivera Jr. is sitting in a jail cell right now, facing life in prison. But he's not the only one responsible for what happened to Kylie Toberman. Every person who ignored the warnings, every person who dismissed the reports, every person who chose convenience over a child's safety, they all played a part in this. Kylie's biological mother, Megan Zeller, said her daughter didn't deserve this, and she's right. Kylie didn't deserve any of it. But beyond grief, beyond anger, beyond the courtroom, there has to be accountability. Not just for Arnold Rivera, for the system that failed her. Because if we don't ask the hard questions now, if we don't demand better from the people and institutions that are supposed to protect children, then Kylie's death means nothing. And the next child, the next Kylie, they won't be saved either. Paige Stone said it best. Kylie's story needs to be told. So here it is, the full story. The warnings that were ignored, the system that failed, the child who deserved so much better. Rest in peace, Kylie Toberman. January 21st, 2011 to November 14th, 2025. #Justice for Kylie. If Kylie's story touched you, if it made you angry, if it made you want to do something, then share it. Talk about it. Because stories like this don't just disappear when we turn off the screen. Domestic violence doesn't always look the way we think it does, and sometimes the people who are supposed to protect us are the ones we need protection from. If you or someone you know is in an unsafe situation, please reach out. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-7233. You can also text START to 88788. You don't have to face it alone. This is Grave Kisses TV, where we tell the stories that need to be heard. Stories of the ones we lost too soon. Stories that demand justice. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more cases like this. Drop a comment and let me know what case I should cover next. And if you believe Kylie Toberman's story deserves to be told, share this video. Her name was Kylie. She was 14 years old, and she should still be here. Until next time, stay safe out there. And remember, silence protects the wrong people. Peace